Hi everybody, it's Nikki Edgell here, and I'm delighted to be talking to you today about a very pertinent subject after 13 weeks of lockdown. It's about relationships. You know, how are your relationships doing after all this time, either being thrown together or pulled apart by the situation we've been in. How are you connecting with people that you really want to connect with? Maybe they have a different stress response to what's been going on, and they're responding in a different way to you, and it can be very difficult to navigate. I know these things are very much the case for myself, and I've been hearing the same from a lot of people. It's a really difficult thing to navigate, and it's another stress. And of course, as I've been discussing all this time, every stressor has this effect, this depressing effect on the immune system. So it's another thing just to factor into, something to have a look at. And this is the perfect opportunity right now. The energies that we're in right now make it very, very possible to make change in that area. So I don't know if everybody follows astrology or numerology or anything like that, but I do. I like to look at loads and loads of different environmental things that have an impact. So we know, for example, that the moon has a very, very big pull on our bodies, on the water in our bodies. We see it in the sea, don't we, with high tides. And the same happens in our body at the same time, because we are 75–80% water. And we're very much affected by what's going on in the cosmos, even if we're not aware of it consciously. And so 3 times a year we have something that obviously it isn't actually physically happening, but something that looks like it's happening when you look at the trajectory of planets. So because of the different trajectories of the different planets in relation to the Earth and the Sun and the Moon, a planet, the Mercury planet, looks like it's going in reverse. It's called Mercury retrograde, and it happens 3 times a year for around about 3 weeks at a time. And I don't know, you probably, if this is new to you, it'll probably sound a bit wacky, but literally I put it in my diary now. I look at the beginning of the year and I diarize, because when things start to happen and you're thinking, why is that happening, or why is that happening? If you've got a different perspective, a different framework to view something in, you can go, oh wow, okay, it's that, and you can let go of some of the stress that you might be experiencing. And with Mercury, it's about communication. It's the planet of communication, and it's also about mechanical things. So it is a time when we don't just sort of start and stop, so we move into it. So we're in the time leading up to it, and Mercury retrograde is coming, stationing into Mercury retrograde on the 18th of this month, and for 3 weeks. So this is a time when you might find that appointments get changed an awful lot. Certainly my diary over many years shows that that's the case. You know, people need to rebook appointments, things get cancelled or need to be shifted. Also mechanical things can go awry, you know, things break or break down. You have problems with your computer maybe, or your washing machine breaks down. It's once you know that it's a thing, it's like, oh okay, it's just Mercury retrograde and it will pass. And you know, everything in life does pass, doesn't it? If we give it enough time and work things through, you know, even within our relationships, things pass, you know, and experiences pass, and, you know, they can feel very intense at one moment, and then given time and a different perspective sometimes, then they pass. So with this particular retrograde, it's all about communication and our home and our relationships, and that's why I say it's a perfect time to be addressing this as one of the stresses, if it is. And it's all about dissolving subconscious patterns and subconscious programmings that we've been conditioned, haven't we? You know, when we're growing up, we have other people, our parents, our school teachers, lots of people that we come into contact with. They condition us. So we have not necessarily our own beliefs, but we've got other people's beliefs that we are living with now as adults. So this time is all about dissolving those subconscious, and also this sort of revealing to ourselves what is under the surface, you know, revealing what's not visible to others, other people's beliefs, that we've, you know, that are not ours. And it's also about a time when we can be much more intuitive, so we can really go into our intuition, our heart's intuition, what we know. We know when we know something to be true, there's no stress around it, is it? It's just like, yeah, that's a no-brainer, literally. You know, your brain doesn't get involved. You just know it in yourself, don't you? And when something's a little bit out of balance, you know that as well, because your body gives you signals. So this is the moment to go inward. So that's what Mercury is asking us to do. It's asking us to go inward and look at what it is that's, you know, perhaps out of alignment a little, and releasing and letting go of anything or anyone where it's not serving you anymore. Yeah, you know, old patterns, relationships. You know, if they're not serving you, it's a time to release, because only in release and letting go can we allow in the future. Yeah. The future that can be much more in alignment with you and your needs. And 2020, you know, it really is metaphorically about clarity of vision, isn't it? 2020 vision, really seeing things clearly. We're seeing this in the world around us at the moment. There's a lot of things that have been going on in the world that are becoming much more overtly apparent, you know, with inequalities, and things to do with how we're governed in the world, and who's controlling what, and, you know, there's a lot of things that are coming out, aren't there? So we're getting clarity, and remembering that our thoughts are very powerful. So having inner reflection of what am I thinking, what are my beliefs, can be very, very valuable in terms of, you know, knowing whether this is a stress or not for you. And so we're moving into an age, and you're probably sensing this now, we're moving into an age where we're connecting with people in a different way. We're moving into an age where we can have much more heartfelt connections. We really feel this humanity, this unity that actually we're all born with. You know, we're all born with this desire to be together and unified and with harmony in the world. And when it's not there, it's a stress. So we're moving into this time where this is much more possible, and connection and reconciling, reconnecting with people that, you know, we do love, that are dear to you. And we can be open to much more change at this time because of the lockdown. In some ways, it's given us a bit more time and space to be more reflective. So that's a good thing, you know, it's a bit of a reframe. It's not all being bad. And so we can have heartfelt communications, and we're seeing this starting to happen more and more in the world outside of our own environment. And we can have more empathy with one another. So the way to really tackle this is to, like I've said on many lives now, to be grounded, yeah, connect in nature. That is where you're going to have the loudest voice from within. You're going to know what it is. And also with your communications, and I need to do this too, I'm certainly, you know, not preaching at all, because this is for me as well as you. All of us need to reflect and to take pause to listen more. Yeah, listen without interruption. Through listening, we really listening without already thinking, how is my response to what I'm hearing? So really pausing when you're with somebody, you get their perspective much deeper. I had it this morning with a communication with someone, and I really understood their perspective of the current situation, for example, and it gave me much more heartfelt and connection and a greater insight and greater empathy, and that's very valuable, because that can take you forward. I think eye contact is another great way to connect with someone's heart. You really see into somebody, and you have to be able to be a bit vulnerable in order to allow that. And when we're in fear, we tend to not have that eye contact. You know, here in Brighton a couple of years ago, we had the most amazing event. It was just a day where volunteers could come along and sit in front of a stranger just for 1 minute, and no words, just purely eye contact. And you saw so much of that other person. It was really beautiful, and I really recommend, if you have the chance, to just give it a practice with people that you trust and know really well. It's amazing, just 1 minute, and you'll learn so much about them and about yourself as well. So that's a really lovely thing to do. So it's about responding, therefore, rather than reacting. And I think our communications can be much more valuable when we do have this time to respond, because we've reflected, we've given space to listen fully. What else did I want to? Yes, is this reflection needed before speaking? So ultimately, compassion, forgiveness for yourself of any thing that you think you may or may not have done. You know, sometimes as children we make up stories when we're told off for something. It becomes so big in us that it causes us to not be fully open to relationships, because we've been shut down in some ways. So all of those old patternings, you know, it's about letting all of that go right now. And ultimately, love is the greatest unifier, isn't it? Love is the greatest healer. So when we can love ourselves and hear ourselves and respond from our own heart space, then we can connect with another's heart, and we can have this wonderful healing of our relationships. Also, right now, it's time. It is the energy of the home. So, you know, anything you can do to make your home space, you know, more of a spa, a sanctuary. You know, when you go to a spa, it's all beautiful, isn't it? So maybe some flowers, or just clear the clutter from the surfaces, you know, just make everything a bit fresher. And again, that's just much more calming and beautiful space to be in. And it may be, you know, a bit of feng shui, moving things around a bit, or it may be that you're doing a renovation project just to make your space how you'd love it. Or it might be that you're deciding to move. You know, all of these things are a really good time to be considering, not actually taking action to move right now, but all the planning. It's all the planning stage within Mercury retrograde. And when we come out the other side, then we can start to put into action these new plans, this new way of expressing yourself. And you can start slowly during this time. And we are building up to, this is the height of the year. This is our eclipse season that we're in. And we've got the summer solstice as well. This really high vibrational energy with an eclipse on it, the second eclipse in the same month. And so this is high energy, this transformative energy that we're in. Everything is possible. You know, it's really profound truths can be revealed at this time and moved and dissolving those old patterns, like I said. So remember, ground yourself, be in nature, and really, you know, have the confidence to be vulnerable and explore, letting go, bringing in new ways of communication. Let me know how you've got on. Yeah, I'd love to hear. You know, write any comments or private message me, and do, you know, like I say, you know, I've been so grateful for this means of communication with you, and thank you so much for your feedback. You know, it's not face to face, but I feel like I'm connecting with you. I'm really opening my heart to connect with you, heart to heart. And I really appreciate that we've got this lovely community building. And so do please continue to invite people to the group on Facebook, and also to my Nick Energy YouTube channel, where I'm uploading these videos as well, so more people can have an opportunity to join with us. So I wish you a wonderful day, and a day of reflection, a starting, you know, this 3 weeks that we're starting in of this lovely means of reflection and heart connections. So bye for now.